was only 9 years old. I loved Shrek so much.
Okay, cut. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm not 9 anymore. You may not have seen me for a while, or if you have, I've pretty much been on Instagram, I've been studying, I've been doing nothing, and this is where the questions come in. It's not because I had no idea what to do, it's literally because I just wanted to do a Q&A, give myself a little moment, you know? But that's not the point. The point is why you're here. You're here to hear if your questions got answered, to see my face, to see that I'm alive, to see my beard. I don't have a beard girlfriend, unfortunately, because I am attracted to women as well. So, you know, times are tough these days in the LGBT community. You can't even get a beard anymore. So I'm gonna answer a few questions which were made by my friends and not only. But first I'm gonna get this glitter going. So the point of this whole thing is that I answer your questions. If you have more questions, please sound them off below or via any handle, because God forbid I'm everywhere. No one has banned me yet, so that's a good thing. Even though I'm the biggest viado of them all. If you're wondering what viado is, you can Google it. Anyways, I was saying, let's get on the question. So, we start off with my dear friend Jordan. Hello. Jordan asks, what inspired you to do makeup on your art Instagram? To be honest, this is my second Instagram actually. My first Instagram got banned because I posted a photo of a doll tail, and Instagram thought it looked like a penis. I had to pretty much complain and say, hey, that's not a penis actually, that's a doll tail. That was the whole joke of it. But anyway, they got offended, I got my accounts blocked, so that's where no plastic doll tails comes from. So originally it was a doll Instagram, meaning I would take photos of my dolls, and then I would pretty much just pose them in different positions, ship them, whatever. I was young, hot and full of cum. But I still did my makeup because I enjoyed it, and occasionally I'd post some selfies because, you know, why the hell not? Everyone posted selfies at that age. I was like 18 or something, and then I just kept doing it, and then I was doing makeup at that time regularly, kind of pretty much every day, but it was much more boring than right now. Before, I'd pretty much do winged eyeliner every day or like brighter colors. So it was kind of organic to me to move to that. I really got inspired by a lot of guys who do makeup, so that kind of made a revival for me to get back into the groove and try it again, or try to take it a bit more seriously. Well, you know, if that's kind of serious. Also, I'm doing glitter brows just because I feel like it and I hope it looks pretty, because I have no idea how it looks on camera. So that's pretty much for the first question. Then my dear friend Jordan asked me what is the speed of an unladen swallow. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And Jordan, I have no idea what even is that. I guess swallow speed? Not the speed of a turtle? Not the speed of a shark? I love you, Jordan. Then Jordan asked me, what music am I currently listening to? And this is where I have to say, I've been listening to a lot of Frank Ocean actually, courtesy of my partner, who pretty much got me into him. I mean Frank Ocean. And I've been kind of like, pretty much just listening to all the recommendations they've been giving me, to be honest. Once I have the time. If it's not that, then I just go on Daily Mix, I see what's up, I see pretty much Suicide's Ghost Rider 6 times in a row. So it's pretty much everything plus Frank Ocean. And a few suggestions here and there which are really cool. So I really appreciate it. Because I've been kind of stuck in this musical rut where I don't know what to listen to. And I was quite bored of what I was listening to. Well, not bored, but you know, I wanted to branch out. And before I met Lucas, I was branching out into different musical genres, But then like this kind of traps me into this never-ending rock phase, which is really funny. And yeah, like that's I guess the good thing about having different partners is everything is, you know, agreed upon. Everyone knows each other, so it's all good. Everyone knows of each other's existence, and that is healthy polyamory. And that's the way we should keep it, my dear friends. Then Jordan asked me which band or musician has the best makeup, and this actually took me a while to think about, and I had to think it over because, frankly, I don't really see that much creative makeup when it comes to bands. Like, I remember when I was younger, I used to really. I'm gonna do my lips now so that I don't do them later. And I don't use foundation because I don't know, I like showing off my natural skin, which is pretty much acne and beard at this point. So just give me a moment to do my lips. Will do. And that's the thing about makeup, I never like to correct myself to make it polished too much. We'll get to Jordan in a bit. And I remember I used to be in art school, and whenever you draw, and to be honest, that art school taught me a lot about life. A lot about my writing, how to create, and I remember everyone would start crying over like spilled paints, and and one of my favorite teachers was, it's like, you need to take advantage of that and leave it because that's what makes art beautiful. And to be honest, that's what makes makeup beautiful, that you can do it whatever the way you want, and you should embrace your mistakes. Also, I filter the fuck out of my photos, so sometimes I hide my acne, but very often you can see it. Okay, lips are done. So Jordan's question was, which musician? So basically I used to like Lady Gaga a lot while I was growing up. And I couldn't help but, you know, get inspired by her because she had a very inspiring period. I remember I even had some hairstyles like her, even though they were like modified. Like I had short hair, but I still managed to do the blonde into the yellow, which was pretty cool at the time. And I guess, you know, looking back at photos, it's cool. But it's really strange to look back at photos before you transitioned, before you knew who you were, and etc. So I'd say early Lady Gaga, as cliche as it is. And then my all-time favorite look would be from Dave Gaines from Depeche Mode in the Barrel of a Gun video, where like he closes his eyes and he has like eyes painted on him. And it's quite a thing. Well, to me it's classic, really. So it's a really cool look. And I remember I even did a photo shoot with Lucas where I did the same thing, and if you scroll really down my Instagram, you'll find. Oh, sorry, that wasn't by Jordan. That was by Josh. I'm really sorry. Okay, next question. Josh asked me if I've ever heard of HMLTD. No, I haven't. I'm sorry. I live under a rock cave, and my partner has been slowly kind of, you know, like, telling me to get out of there. Anyway, what do you think of their style? So I checked them out. I think they're neat, but they're not necessarily my thing. I just want to say that they look fun. I liked their videos and everything. But it's just not my thing, but I might give it a listen. I might go back to it and, you know, fall in love with them. It usually takes me quite a while to get into bands. And then pretty much, if I'm not the one discovering them, the person has to pretty much grab me by the hands and lead me into liking the bands, which is, I hope it's not annoying when it comes to other people. Okay, so I've got a few questions from Reddit, and I have 3 cats. Shout out. Via Ask Transgender asks me, how do I change my eyebrows? Do I need to adjust the shape by shaving them a little? Should I just put cream on it? I'm lost and brushy, please help. Okay, so I'll tell you an eyebrow story. I still kind of dislike my eyebrows. I wish they were bushy, on the opposite. So I used to always like draw them on ridiculously and always wanted shapes of them. And what happens was that I actually went to a eyebrow salon and I asked them like, hey, can you please do something about my fucking eyebrows, because And the first time they did it, it was really, really dope, right? I really enjoyed it. So I went there a second time and they did like a line. So I stopped doing that and I was like, okay, I'm gonna embrace my natural. I'm gonna, embrace my moments. So I did that. But if you feel that you have really, really bushy eyebrows, then you can obviously. There are stencils, so you can buy those stencils and pretty much trace what you do want to keep and try to remove the rest if you want to do that. But I'd recommend to rock your brows if you feel comfortable with them, obviously. But if not, you can use stencils. You can also you can pretty much use different techniques from drag techniques to just waxing them. So it depends on what is happening with your brows because I haven't seen a picture and how it looks with your shape and everything. So I really wish you all the best because brows are a pain in the ass. My next question comes from The Daring Escape. I'm still pretty lost when it comes to contouring. I just don't have an eye for it. Okay, about contouring. I used to contour all the time. And this is like after I was out as a binary trans guy. And I used to do it on the streets. I loved it. I would do it. I loved the trend of it. And then I just got bored of it as well. And also kind of like doing all those trends, like they're all cool, but you don't really want to look all the same. I mean, if you do, that's cool. But you want to still, hold some uniqueness to yourself, Which is pretty much what I did. So when it comes to contouring your face, you need to do that shape. Choose a light shade. Don't go dark unless you're going dramatic. Unless you're doing drag. Unless you're doing some avant-garde makeup. I love dipping into my darkest shade of contour, for instance. And make sure to buy a good cheap palette so that you don't waste money. I highly recommend the NYX Highlighting and Contour Pro palette, which I've been having for years and years and years, and I've hit pan all colors by now. And I need to rebuy it. Okay, now we're moving to the juicy stuff, the personal stuff. So, by an anonymous heterosexual friend, I suggested that, they could go by incognito, but they said, no, anonymous heterosexual friend. And I was like, okay, cool. We had this really interesting discussion where they were asking me different things, and I had to pretty much listen to them, to their opinion, and pretty much, if to summarize it, what makes a man, what makes a woman, and what makes neither, and how do I know who I am? And that is a very difficult decision, because to come to, and to understand who you are. Like, when it comes to myself, it really took me maybe 20 years to understand who I was, and I'll get back to my journey in a bit. Or maybe I'll intertwine these two. But the point is, it's really, really hard to understand who you are. It's not easy. And specifically since I grew up in Eastern Europe, and then I moved to, I lived in the UK for a bit, I moved around, and now I'm in Portugal. It's quite hard because you're pressured, and like my friend said, you're kind of drilled into your head like you're a girl because you have XX chromosomes, or XY, so you're a man. And we need to step out of that. We need to understand that what we are assigned at birth isn't what we are. We need to look deep down into ourselves and pretty much see what is going on there. And I understand that professionals do help us and they evaluate us and then they give us like, yeah, you're trans. And then we can, walk out and be like, yeah, I'm trans, I'm confirmed trans. And that's very cool, when you get that confirmation. Because then you get to start HRT, you get onto surgeries and stuff. But before that, you need to discover that for yourself. And how to discover that? For me, it was the fact that I spoke about it, I think, in my old videos, but no one watches them anymore. And to be honest, they're pretty cringy with my really high voice. So, but that's not the point. What I'm trying to say is that you have to ask yourself. There are different things which happen, and then you realize, boom, I'm trans. Like, for instance, I already knew that I was polyamorous, and I was dating this girl, right? And after we broke up, I was like, fuck, I know nothing about women. I do not relate to women. I don't like women. And I entered this phase where I identified as gay for many, many years. And it's only recent that I started identifying as queer. And I started seeing other people who weren't male, you know. And when it comes to that, I just kind of sat down and then I started watching a lot of movies and I was like, hey, I relate to that character and that one. And I used to want to be a guy so badly when I was growing up. But the thing is, I remember I told it once to one of my parents and they just shut me off. And after that, I kind of really got scared because you don't get exposed to trans people at all. And I'm 25, so in trans years, it's kind of old because, you know, back then we didn't have representation. So we had to just, you know, live somehow. So how did I know that I was a guy? I just assessed myself. You have to ask yourself, like, what is it that you... Sorry, my camera stopped working. Technical difficulties, like everyone was saying. Anyway, as I was saying, I did my eyeshadow off camera. I did a bit here, because why the hell not? I pretty much did the eyeshadow. So, as I was saying, you have to ask yourself, pretty much, who do you think you are? And you have to not rely on stereotypes of what are perceived of men, of women, you know? Because I get that a lot. Like, people say, oh, I can't be a guy because men are trash, or... So that stops a lot of guys from identifying as guys. And that goes to people who are assigned male, and people who are assigned female at birth, or assigned neither. So it's really sad, because our society pretty much demonizes men. And I don't know why. Well, I understand, or rather I see why, but it really ticks me off. Because I don't see anything bad in being male. Just like there's nothing bad in being female, or being neither, or being both, or being, you know. All genders are okay. There is no wrong gender. And people fail to understand that. And people fail to understand that just because you were assigned something at birth doesn't mean that you will be it until the end. Also, gender is fluid. So by the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that you have to ask yourself, and only you know the answer. Society is really harsh, but we gotta live in it somehow. We gotta find our ground, we gotta find those people who will stay with us, those people who will be with us, those people who won't backstab us. And it's pretty sad that, you know, you can't just have a family sometimes. Anyway, how did I go from fluid to binary? Was another question answered, but my camera ate it. Was the fact that, so I was dating this girl, and then, I was pretty much baffled by her actions. I was pretty much baffled by women. And I was like, this can't be it. So what I did next was pretty much, I can't be it. I just can't. I can't hold anymore. So I came out as non-binary, I came out as gender fluid. And then I thought that I had phases in my life where I was male, phase where I was female. And I thought it would, you know, come back, that I'd be female again, and I'd be male again, etc. But it didn't. A year passed and I looked at Lucas and we were like, oh my god, no, you're just male. So that's pretty much what happened. It wasn't that much of a journey, it was really denial. It was really heavy denial. And that was a question by my dear man Everett. So next, I got asked by Alex Powok via RFTM, which surgeries have been done and where? Okay, so I have had 0 surgeries, and the surgeries I want to do will be done in Portugal, most likely. So then my dear man Brandon asked me what's my favorite T change. So I'd say my voice, which is pretty noticeable, my face shape, my beard, everything, to be honest, has been positive other than the mood swings and the hunger. But it's quite good. And that leads us to My face? My looks? I'm pretty sure you've seen how everything got creative and everything. So that leads us to our last question, which Brandon asked, which is really lovely. Jamie, why are you so rad? I honestly have no idea because to be honest, the camera stops working and I really got depressed. I was like, fuck, I lost footage. And I don't know. I think to determine if you're rad or not is something for someone else to determine. So if you think that I'm rad, then I am rad. And if you do think that I'm rad, please leave a like, because I'll continue doing these videos because I like them and I hope everyone else will. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, comments, shout out, everything.